Perfect. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, it's David Sobolov. I am Anya's uncle, and I play the role of Washford on Date Everything. Also,
Very
Kaido in One Piece. I think you might know me from there.
and many, many other things.
My characters are famous. I'm not famous. No one knows who I am, but they do know my characters.
They definitely know your characters. One thing that I've been wondering about is how did you get into doing Date Everything? Like,
Date
how
Everything
did,
happened
yeah.
because I helped out Robbie Damon, who's one of the producers of this, one of the creators
Hmm.
of this. He knew me from before. It was just before the pandemic. They were starting to develop it. It was 6 or 7 years ago. And there's something called a vertical slice, which many of you may know. What that is when you're developing a game, it's kind of the demo of the game. It tries to sell the game so you can fund it. And I helped them out with that,
Oh,
playing the same
okay.
characters. So they remember me from that. They brought me in again, which was
Oh,
awesome.
that's awesome. Very cool. And did you like how much control did you have over the character, like the personality and stuff?
Well, pretty much you get into the studio and you're collaborating and you do an audition or a previous performance and they'll play it back for you. So you can try to match that.
Okay.
But then we kind of found out where it went. I have this thing where I let characters come to me. I do
Mm-hmm.
them, I look at their psychology mostly, and then I
Yeah.
sort of see what voice does this character need. I don't really plunk it on, I kind of let it develop.
Mm-hmm.
So, I spend a few minutes doing that. It has to be fast because you got to
Mm-hmm.
get the character down and get on with the session. But extremely collaborative because Washford is a very, just he speaks a lot of big words, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So to act that, sometimes we actually had to change the text because we realized neither I nor the director actually knew what the word meant.
Oh man.
He's supposed to be that brainy. We thought, well, if we don't know what it is, the audience isn't going to know what it is. So we were making little changes.
Yeah.
But you know what? We had such a good time with it. And he's a very unusual character. It's not a character people are used to having me play,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. He's gay, and he
Mm-hmm.
was in he was in love with the dryer,
Mm-hmm.
and they broke up. And most of what he talks about, it's sort of like if you have a bad date,
Mm-hmm.
you'll go on the date with somebody who's talking about their ex.
Yeah.
That's almost all he does. So it's funny because people say they enjoy my voice in it, and that kind of draws them to the character. But I always thought
Mm-hmm.
he must be the least dateable character in the game. But we'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll find out. I've been like I'm on the Discord server for the game and I've been poking around. I haven't played the game yet, but I've seen people talking about some of the characters and I was just curious what people were saying about Washford. And one of the things that they had commented on was how challenging it is to befriend him because all
He's
he's talking about is the dryer.
yeah, that's all he
Yeah.
talks about. But it makes it interesting. It's different,
Yeah.
and he has a lot of dialogue. So there's always
Hmm.
he'll believe me. He'll always be talking at you because he does like the monologue.
Okay. And from what I gathered, is he a little bit Shakespearean?
Very, very much
Okay.
so. Very formal.
Okay.
Very formal. That's definitely the word I was looking for before. Formal.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything is deeply explained and explained again and explained again. I don't want
Okay.
to. I don't want to give people the impression that he's like an annoying character, but
No.
I think he's entertainingly annoying.
I like that. There are so many characters in media that are it's annoying, like they are an annoying character, but it's always interesting to interact with them or see them on the screen or whatever
Mm-hmm.
it might be. So, oh,
Um,
something fell.
something fell. What fell? Let's see.
The yellow one.
I think yeah. This is from Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Oh yeah.
Battle Trap. He fell. That's
Okay.
okay. I'll put him back later.
Do you have a favorite line that you recorded?
I'm telling you, it was so erudite. I'll give another word for it.
Yeah.
I would have to see it again because it was just so formal. It's not the way I normally speak,
Yeah.
so it doesn't make me remember it very well. I'm
Yeah.
going to need to do that for interviews and stuff, talking about the game. I need to get something
Hmm.
like a list of things I said. I mean, I even do that for Kaido. I have like 6 or 7 things I remember,
Oh yeah.
but you're getting into it. You're just doing it in the moment. The text,
Hmm.
the script is given to you in the moment.
Yeah,
You
for
don't have any
sure.
time to look at it, and then it sort
Hmm.
of goes through you when it's gone.
Yeah,
It's
and
kind
it's
of
not
like
like in theater where you memorize everything and you still have it in your
no,
head years later.
But also, it's a little bit like you go to a really great meal,
Hmm.
and a week later, if you were pressed to like, okay, tell me everything you had on every course of the meal, you wouldn't remember everything.
No. You just remember it was amazing.
Yeah, I remember the
Hmm.
experience.
Yeah, which is the most important thing.
But I'm sure some people that talk to voice actors must think we're crazy because we can't. A lot of us can't remember anything we said.
I
We
mean,
just remember the character.
it's the same in like I write so many TTRPGs and things like people ask me about the mechanics of a particular game that I wrote and I'm like I need to look at it. Hang on one second.
Sometimes the things you do are so complex that there's no way to. If you want to keep, it's almost like there's not enough room in your brain. Strangely, and
Absolutely.
you also have a laser sharp focus on the character while you're performing it. And
Hmm.
I'm really thinking about the psychology and all the feelings involved in the character a lot more than what he's saying. Strangely,
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me, but of course I also have a theater background, so
yeah,
I understand that method.
you have to tell the story. So you're
Hmm.
telling the story in the moment, but then what lingers is the story. It's kind of like with people too.
Hmm.
You may have a good friend and you don't remember anything they said to you 2 weeks ago, but
No.
you remember how it made you feel.
Hmm.
Does that make
Absolutely.
sense?
It does. Yeah, I like that
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Well, I'll just say about Kaido. Kaido was the first anime that I did in 26 years,
Hmm.
and it was such an unusual casting because I tried out for it. It was the
Hmm.
very I had sort of come back to anime after being away for a long time. It strangely was the very first audition that I ever had in 26 years for anime, and I
That
somehow
is
booked them.
wild.
That's crazy.
That is really
And it's such a
wild.
substantial part.
Yeah. And the last one before that was what? D from Key the Metal Idol?
Yeah.
Isn't it wild that I remember that?
Well, you remember only because you're my relative. I don't think anyone else would, but
Yeah.
you
I
never
mean,
know.
I owned them on tape as well, so.
I still have a DVD of some of them,
Hmm.
but that was a very different time. I was in
Yeah.
Canada, and
Hmm.
it just wasn't a great time for us to be doing anime. It was fun and all that, but
Yeah.
to survive financially, there weren't any
Hmm.
conventions. There weren't any
Yeah, for
conventions that
sure.
paid very badly, and I just couldn't continue doing it. I had to sort of
Hmm.
move on to more Western stuff for a while. It's
Yeah.
just a little short break, 26 years. It's not too long,
Hmm.
right?
Not terribly long, no.
And now I'm back, so I want to do more anime.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, is there, I'm sure not being able to talk about it, but is there anything else potentially coming down the line?
There's things, but they make us sign NDAs,
Hmm.
so that you can't really say much.
Yeah, of
There is a
course.
very, very big movie that you'll about going to be seeing soon that I
Oh,
have a part in. That'll be happening in about a month, and you could
okay.
probably guess what it might be, but I won't say.
Mhm.
And that'll be fun.
I'll look around. I'll do a
Yeah,
little pokesy.
you probably won't be able to see it because I'm not supposed to talk about it yet.
Oh yeah, of
They
course.
probably didn't even say that I was in it yet,
Okay.
but maybe. I mean, I have to look at IMDb and see what they've done.
Hmm.
Sometimes they'll upload a cast list.
Oh yeah. Without maybe meeting to, or just they upload
Oh
it.
no, no, they upload it when they're ready, and it's
Hmm.
usually the day or two after release, or a
Okay.
week maybe. They don't like to release anything beforehand.
Hmm.
And I mean, and I don't have a huge thing going on in the movie. I'm in it. Hopefully, you'll hear me.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
Well,
that.
I almost always manage to recognize your voice. The exception, so with the D&D movie, that one was
Mm-hmm.
so interesting because I went to see it and I of course wanted to see it because it was the D&D movie, but also I was like, of course, being like, okay, let's see if I can hear his voice. And it wasn't until after the sentencing, the hearing, whatever where they were trying to leave the jail that I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yes, I'm supposed to be listening for his voice. And by that
Well,
point you were already done.
the funny thing was in Dungeons and Dragons, most of my parts were before the opening credits.
Yeah.
But no, the judge continued on throughout the movie. On occasion,
Hmm.
he'd pop up.
Yeah,
Um,
but very rarely. And so I think that it was just a slight enough that I couldn't recognize you.
they called us, I believe, special creature voices, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds familiar because I remember that you didn't have a named character in the credits because I
Yeah.
always stay for the credits.
Oh, well, that's well. When I'm in something, I appreciate when you do that.
Mhm. Mm.
So, anything else you can think of?
So I have one question
Yes.
that came. I didn't tell anyone who I was interviewing, anything like that, but I asked in the Data Everything server, hey, if you could ask any of the VAs, just in general, if you could ask any of them a question about the game, what would you ask them? And one person had a really great one, which was, would you love, hate, or friendship your own character if you played the game yourself?
I would friendship and be very
Mm-hmm.
careful with my friendship. It would be a very sort of wait and see kind of friendship.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Now there are some people, and he's gay, so there may be
Mm-hmm.
some men who might be interested in him. He's very
Mm-hmm.
good looking,
Yeah.
and some people don't care about personality. There's how someone looks.
Yeah.
Well, I
They're
think
just
he's
like
got a
aesthetic.
he was. I gave him a very kind of rich, kind of creamy voice in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the voice is going to be attractive to some people.
Yeah.
It's not a negative character, but he's sort of
Mm-hmm.
almost someone like he overshares. That's
Yeah.
probably what his flaw would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to hear how people react to the character. Waiting to hear. I know that people are mainly reacting to the sound of the voice right now,
Yeah, of course.
but I'm waiting to hear how they feel about dating him.
Well, I mean, there are what, 100 characters in the game,
Mm-hmm.
so they all have to have very unique personalities, and
Mm-hmm.
there will be someone for everyone in the game,
There will
which
be. Now
I think is wonderful.
I'm waiting to see if there'll be any virtual marriages come out of this
Hmm.
with the players and the characters. Like they get so obsessed with the character that they want to marry the character. Well, you see some people do.
Interesting.
Some people marry their avatar in Japan.
True. Yeah, I was picturing it more like, would that be an additional like downloadable content thing that they somehow do for the game? That could be interesting.
It would be a great. I'm gonna have to suggest that to Robbie about
Yeah.
marriage
Hmm.
module, if they still call it that.
I
I'm
don't
so
know.
horrible because I've done like almost 100 games, but
Hmm.
I kind of grew up before it happened. There weren't any
Yeah.
games. It was pinball. It's so funny
Hmm.
because at the cast party, we had the cast party last week, and it
Yeah.
was at a place called the Valley Relics Museum. And at the Valley
Okay.
Relics Museum in Los Angeles, excuse me, there are all these antique pinball machines,
Hmm.
and there's signs, neon signs, and I love that stuff. So it was a great
Yeah.
place to go for a party. But they had this pinball machine called Scared Stiff, and
Okay.
that with Elvira. It's a sort of a
Yeah.
spooky. That was my favorite thing to do when it was old. I was older then, but it was
Hmm.
really kind of the very last famous pinball machine.
Okay.
Because for a while there were video games and pinball machines kind of coexisting, but this was
Hmm.
the very last one. So it was so exciting to see it again. And that would have
Hmm.
been like the mid 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
Haven't
never
seen
seen
one in a
that one in
long time.
person.
It's
Yeah.
fun. I mean, I would love to get one. They're
Where would you
very
put
expensive.
it?
I'd find a place, but they're like $8,000 or something to buy one
Oh yeah.
because it's famous and famous antique pinball machine at this point. I used to have one from 1952.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore, but I loved it when I had it.
Hmm.
But we're
Yeah.
drifting. We're drifting so far
We are
away.
drifting.
But I want to
That's
say,
fine.
despite the unusual character that I play, which I don't be negative. It's not negative. It's a good
Yeah.
thing. But he's quirky. I think this game is unique. You've never
Hmm.
seen anything like it. It's just weird and fun. And really,
Yeah.
that's the game company is called SassyChap Games,
Oh, that's delightful.
and they're just goofy people, and they're
Hmm.
making a goofy thing that I think a lot of people are going to love.
Yeah, and that's really great. The major thing that I clocked when I saw the concept for this and everything was just how unique it was because I've
Yeah,
never seen anything like this before. So at all. Not even like the dating your furniture and stuff aspect of it, but like having like all different like the spectrum of genders and or no gender or like it doesn't matter who you are as a player, like anything anyone is accessible in this game, like that's really amazing and really wonderful.
it reminds me of a fan convention because
Hmm.
everyone's accepted at a fan convention, and
Yeah.
everyone's accepted in date everything too.
Yeah, exactly.
Come as you are.
Exactly. So I'm excited to play. I have zero expectations because I don't know how the gameplay goes. I've only seen some of the clips and things online, so it'll be interesting.
Well, let me know what you think of it. I'm going to be getting it soon.
Yeah.
We'll play it at home.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't really, like I said, I'm not great at playing games, but what I do is I watch other people playing games and
Yeah.
enjoy it
Well,
that way.
I feel like this is one that you won't have any issues playing. It's not like
Well, you
you have
never
to do
know.
any shooting or
I,
anything.
I need to hire a 16-year-old to teach me how to even use a controller. When I do press for a game, I say, please shoot me from the shoulders up, so they don't see what I'm doing with the buttons.
I mean, that's fair. Like, if I ever play like a game that involves shooting or things like that, I'm button mashing. Like, I can learn them, but I'm not going to remember all of the different combinations and stuff like that. I'm just going to go
Mhm.
and it'll be fine.
Well, for some people, it's like a third hand because it just comes super naturally to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll take some lessons sometime so I can be better at it. Well, it was
Yeah.
really great talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. I'm going to get into playing the game proper now. So, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.